What's up, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Becoming a Local Leader. My name is Findlay-Shirras, and on today's episode, we got Dustin herbison, one of the members of the Kelowna North Realty Group, who him and his team have done an amazing job getting out in the community, doing interviews, have really good quality interviews, and hopefully they can help you do the systems so you can get the results. And if you're thinking about joining the network, you can maybe learn about their perspectives, having just got started this year. So thanks very much for being on the show.
Thanks a lot for having us.
So why don't you give people some background, kind of who you are, how long you've been in real estate, and tell me about the team.
Cool. So I've been in real estate just over a year now, and it's myself and my partners Tyler Purvis and Chris Albanese, and we were just like-minded people who ended up getting together in the last, we've only been together for the last 6 months, heard about Park Bench, sort of looked at the model. It sort of suited our personalities because we all like talking to people and getting out in the community, and we thought, what can we do that's different than trying to sit there and grind online leads? We want to go out and do something and feel productive and just more face-to-face.
Yep.
And Park Bench seemed to fit that for us. So yeah, we're, I guess, just over probably 6 months now down the road doing it, and it's been a lot of fun. Yeah.
How did you guys first hear about us?
Actually, Chris, he's got the most years experience on the team. He had heard about it, and he's very intrigued by it, and he brought it up at a team meeting, and we looked into it, and it was a right fit. So yeah.
Now, did you guys love it right away, or we kind of like had some questions and concerns about it all? Like,
I think we basically understood that it was a structured way to get out and to sort of meet new groups that you wouldn't otherwise meet, and that's what we liked about it. And so I think we understood the model pretty quickly, especially after there's a bit of the training that you go through, and after that, it was pretty clear for us. So, yeah.
Now, filling the top of the funnel is super important. There's lots of ways of doing it. You can cold call, you can door knock, you can do print, you can buy leads. Like, what stuff do you do apart from Park Bench, and why do you like this versus some other avenues?
We toyed around with some of the online leads and just found the quality was not there for us, and we shut it down pretty quickly, just because when you're calling them, you've got no rapport, and it didn't feel natural for any of our personalities. And so for us, this has been one of our main ways of networking, and then just like being involved in the community in other ways. We're very referral based, and so we thought, why not do a referral based way of getting more people in your sphere.
When you talk about like personality, there's people who are thinking about doing this. How would you describe like who would be the right fit, personalities and values wise, who's the right fit, and describe some realtors that you know that would not be good at this because of their personality and values?
Sure. I mean, I think I would, hopefully most are, because if you're a realtor, you have to like talking to people. So hopefully that's the biggest thing and the biggest number one, that you need to be able to be comfortable getting in front of people and talking to people. If you're someone who is a little bit more introverted and not willing to just put yourself out there, this might not be for you. I mean, we've both done different interviews. Tyler and I have done them, and you still get a little bit of anxiety here and there. But if you're just willing to try, anybody can.
Tell me, what's your process? Like, how do you book the interview?
So we get the interviews in a variety of ways. Oftentimes it's like, say, friends of our friends, oh, hey, I saw you guys interviewed so-and-so, and they sort of want a part of the action. There's that way. We also know, we actually have a really good network of a couple people who keep referring us to other business owners. So that's been really nice. And then after we get their names and contact, we just have them all on a spreadsheet, and we just sort of have like, hey, it's highlighted in green if we've done them, red if it's not, yellow if we still need to follow up, kind of thing. Very simple system. And then we'll just give them a call and say, hey, when would it work for you? Explain the process, explain why we do it very briefly on the phone. And we haven't really had anyone say, well, we had a couple people say, I don't really want to get on camera. That's the main one, right? Yeah. But mainly it's yeah, sure, sounds good. And then a week or two later, we'll meet up. And
well, because some people, they think, okay, here's this system where I'm getting out in the community, I'm approaching people to do this. Normally, if I'm a realtor and I approach people are not very fond of all the scripts and templates I've seen and experienced in the past. Describe the difference in the approaches and the experience and the receptivity of people.
Well, okay, so when it's about them first, way easier. And it's not about you and your real estate and not about you just trying to find out about them instantly. Hey, what do you want to buy? What do you want to sell? When it's about, hey, we're local realtors, we are community driven. and we want to promote your business, and that's sort of how we give back. And in turn, it allows us to meet people we would have never otherwise meet. That's sort of how it's framed from our perspective, and people love it. They're like, oh, great. And then once you do a few of them, you can point to the, hey, say we did it with, whatever, Tim and Sarah's ice cream shop down the road, and then they see it, and they can go, oh, okay, I could do that.
Any rejection so far? Any people will say no?
Not once we've got them talking. No, we haven't had an outright rejection. I can't think of.
Is there anything?
Some people that haven't called back, maybe 2 or 3, but I would say at least 90% of them are willing to do it. So.
Is there anything you've done in your business where you got a lot of rejection?
Yeah. The first time that I cold called, and multiple times with some of those lead gen systems. That again, the quality of the leads is so unknown, right? You don't know what you're walking into. You know what I mean?
Companies won't tell you that.
They don't. They don't really tell you that.
They'll give you great leads.
No. So comfortability-wise in dealing with people, no, it's been pretty. Yeah.
So who have you interviewed so far? What were some of the people
Oh my goodness! So we've had mechanics. We have 2 mechanics. We've had someone with the Enviro dry floor cleaning business. We had a pest control. We interviewed someone who is a very prominent figure in developing a new child advocacy center in Kelowna. That was really amazing. Who else did we do? Someone who sells walk-in tubs for seniors.
Now, how do you think about who to interview? Because some people who are now doing it, they're in their head like, who should I interview? Is there like a strategy, a rhyme or reason? Like, how do you think through that?
For us, it's been if anyone's willing to do it, we feel like we're already going to connect on some level. And so we haven't really been picking and choosing any industry whatsoever. It's just if somebody's willing to say, hey, and sit down in front of a camera, we feel like we'll have a good rapport and things have gone well.
And what about preparing? So you book it. So let me first ask, if I had to ask you to book an interview right now, how long would it take?
To book it or to conduct the interview?
Just to book it, just to get the appointment set.
Not very long. I mean, 5-10 minutes. Make sure we put all their information in and set a time, no problem. Yeah.
What do you think? So there's agents who are like, I'm having a hard time booking interviews. Can you relate to that? Can you empathize with that? Do you feel that you might understand what they're doing
wrong? I can
wrong?
kind of understand it because sometimes you're just hesitant to bring it up. But for example, where do you love to go to lunch all the time? You see the waitresses, you see the waiters, you see the people in this business all the time. Maybe you talk about who owns it and say, hey, I come here all the time. I'm doing this thing called Park Bench. Do you want to check it out? There's probably people right in front of you because we interact with businesses everywhere all the time. Just think about somewhere that you like to go, and then you can genuinely approach them. You genuinely know about their business already. If it's somewhere you go already, whether or not it's an ice cream place or a chocolate shop or a little store. I mean, everyone buys things places.
Now, in your pitch to book an interview, do you say, hey, my name is Dustin. I'm a realtor with Realty North Group in Kelowna.
I know we
Or do
do.
you say, hey, I'm just an ambassador for this local website, and you keep the real estate thing kind of in the background?
No, we've said it. Tyler and I both. We said, hey, I introduced myself. I'm Dustin. I'm part of the Kelowna North Real Estate Group, and that's where I leave that, and then just lead into how we get out in the community and try and help small business owners. Okay. And then a lot of times, like, oh, is there a fee? I said, no, it's not a fee. I said, it's what we do to, help support community. Yeah. And it's just, and they're like, well, why are you doing it? Some people have asked, why are you doing it? Most don't. Most are just like, okay. But when they do, it's just, hey, we just want to meet new people, and this is how we're networking. Yeah. And then it's honest, it's honest, and it's not like it's, there's any undertones. Everyone knows why we're here, and.
So one of the things that I remember when I did this, I appreciated that you could be honest about, like, this is what I'm doing. Yeah. I am doing this to meet people, to give value to my community, because I know if I keep doing this over and over and over again, you may use me, someone else may use me, you may refer me, I don't know, I'm just going to give value to people. And
let's not forget you're talking to other business owners.
Yeah.
So they're business people, they understand.
Whereas it's like, okay, so describe print marketing, describe buying leads. Well, I'm gonna put my face on a bunch of things and just kind of spam it in front of all of you, and then wait for one of you to call. Or I'm going to spend a bunch of money online to find a way to get your email, phone number, and then I'm going to call you over and over and over again until we try to do business. Like, the honest truth about other forms of marketing make the consumer go like, I don't really like that.
And that's why bringing value, there's got to be a way you bring value. And we do some print marketing, but it's to very specific properties in which we specialize, and we know a lot about them, and we consider ourselves experts. Yeah. And I think if you can't bring some kind of a value to the table, then people are going to not spend time on you.
So how would you compare, like, when realtors go, okay, yeah, like, start conversations, give value, build relationships, what do I need, park benches, or other ways of doing it? Are there other items of value that you've got in your toolbox that you give to people? What do you like about this item of value to give people?
So are there other items? So firstly, again, like just to go back, like we really think having information is key. And if you actually know your market and know what you can do, know what you can build, how you can develop, what a developer or investor is looking at compared to somebody that's looking at their first home. I mean, we have kind of chosen an area that we are the experts in, right? And I think that's the one way we bring value, right? And then, yeah, speaking to this tool gets us in front of more people to showcase our skills, right?
Like, why not a calendar?
Why not
or a notepad?
Why not a calendar or a notepad? Because
Follow
everyone
up
else is doing that, and you know, who are you going to remember? The calendar guy or the person you sat down with and chatted for 10, 15 minutes, right? And there's the other stuff off camera that you don't see either, which is part of it. When you get there, you chat and you build that relationship, and by the time you're on camera, everybody's comfortable. Right?
So walk people through your process. Do you prepare for the interview? What do you send the person beforehand? And then when you're there, what's your setup and the interview and the takedown, the whole process look like?
So when we first got started, because we couldn't point to, hey, here's some that we've done in the past, right? It looked a little different. We had scripts. I had emailed the people in advance, but now because it's flowing so well and I can point to some of the stuff we've already done, we'll just send them, hey, here's an example of what we have done. Does this look like something that, and oh yeah, sure. And if they're hesitant, basically, hey, listen, nobody knows their business better than you. So if I were to ask you questions about your business, you know the answer. And they're like, you're probably right. So we don't send formalized scripts. I still think it probably wouldn't be a bad idea, but we've just had so much success with talking to them on the phone, explaining the process, showing them example links, and just sending them a quick email or even a text, which is nice because people like text, seem to. And then they can just go, okay, cool, sounds good, right? And then once we get there, we chat, tell them how it's going to work, and we slowly set up our camera stuff, and then just making them feel comfortable. And you know, there's always the anxiety. Some folks have anxiety, and that's fine, and some don't. But then before you know it, we're sitting there, and 5 minutes have gone by, and there's always too much footage. There's never not enough footage. Right? And then from there, it's thanks a lot, guys, and keep us in mind. And then we tell them we'll have the interview ready in a week or two. Send them a follow-up email with the link to the interview, with the link to the park bench, with the link to the raw YouTube. So in case they want to do anything with it, go ahead, share it out. And then from there, just trying to keep in touch with them. And
how long does it take you? So how long would you say your interview is, the whole process, setup, interview, takedown, and then how long to edit and put it up and promote it?
For one single one, that whole process, I would say not much more than an hour, especially if you're getting to it. 45 minutes to show up, do the interview, be gone. And then depending on how quick you're at editing, 15 to 20 max. Yeah, just over an hour. It takes us just over an hour to go.
And was there like a learning curve at the beginning? Like,
I had some video editing experience, so it wasn't too bad. But because the interviews are so short, there's not much to edit anyways.
Is there any, so some agents find themselves like, oh my God, this editing took me like 2, 3, 4 hours. And sometimes it might be like they're trying to do too much with the footage. They don't necessarily need to. Is there any tips and tricks you can give to people for filming and editing to make it more efficient?
Yeah, I think just trying to, first of all, keep it short, because then you don't have to go through 15 minutes worth of video. Try to really have it at 5 minutes, and even set a timer for yourself. Then you've only got, you've got your 5 minutes of footage, and just making sure that before you start, you explain that, hey, if you fumble or I fumble or one of us fumbles, let's just keep going, because we can just quickly take that little section out, and it's very easy to edit like that, right? And not like, oh my gosh, we've messed up, and then everyone stops, and just keep going, finish whatever you were doing, and then just keep on going. So in terms of that, try not to be too fancy. As long as you have good audio, I think we did invest in some good microphones, and that was really, really good for us. We got a lot of good feedback, because there's nothing worse than watching a video and it's all echoey and you can't hear anything. So as long as you have a decent camera and some good audio, keep it short. It keeps the editing easy. You know.
Now, your whole team, you know, you guys are young. Compared to most of our clients are between 45 and 65, and I know there's this new wave of agents coming into the market with new mindset, new skills, new ways of wanting to do business and using technology to do it. And sometimes with the younger demographic, they're like, oh, I don't need anyone's help. Like I can just do everything all on my own. Like I like this concept, but I'm just going to do everything on my own. What do you appreciate about, our technology, our platform, our service, our community? Like what are some of the things that you value? Because you guys are good at video editing, where some people, they really value our coaching and support on how to do video editing.
Totally. I mean,
what do you guys find?
Well, because you can point to, so when someone goes, well, what is Parkbench? And then when they arrive on Parkbench and they see your specific logo and they see how professional that the interface looks, I mean, that does it right there, right? It's not just, wait, how can I find out about, wait, where are these guys? Who are they? It's not some personal website. You go to Parkbench, you're featured there, and you can see your videos, and just the way it's set up with local content, that to me, it gives you more credibility.
Cool. Tell me about like what you see for the future. So you guys are in your first year doing this. Who are the people that you want to interview that haven't interviewed yet? And what are some of the things you see happening as you continue to do this?
Cool. I mean, that's an awesome question. I'd love to sit down with the mayor. That'd be awesome. Get his perspective on a few things. And he was an ex-realtor as well, so that'd be fun. But I think the goal moving forward, what it would look like is just, now that we have met so many people, we can genuinely refer their unique services. So we're kind of the go-to, really becoming the go-to person to say, hey, ask Dustin and Tyler and Chris. They know a good X, Y, Z, right? So being able to really have strong referral systems in place where people automatically think of us, and just people end up reaching out to us even more would be a good place to be.
Now, all of this takes time and effort, and a lot of agents, either after signing on or even before, when they're thinking about it, they're like, ooh, I don't know if I have the time. What's your response to them when they think about, I don't know if I have time to get out in my community and go build relationships in this way?
Well, I mean, if you don't have time to get out in front of the community, then you're probably doing something else, and then you got to question, then what is that thing and how successful is it? Because if it's working amazing, well, then maybe you're fine where you're at. But if you're like, hey, I need more leads and I could use some more FaceTime with people I don't know, then you've got to make time for it. Because even one interview a week, it doesn't take long to amass 15, 20, and all of a sudden you've built up your credibility and you've met at least 15, and maybe their spouses too, maybe 15, 30, 50 people you didn't know before will pass you on the street and know who you are.
Yeah.
So.
And how do you think about like the math? Like, if I meet this many people, here's the deal flow or the referral flow that I'm seeing over the years increase. Like, how do you think about?
I think it's on par with anything else if you're actually getting quality leads, and I mean it's if not better, because you're actually sitting in front of somebody doing this. And for us and our team, that was our whole goal, right? So if we did that and we met 100 plus people in 1 year, or 80 plus people in 1 year that we didn't know before, I don't know, you built a sphere in a way that's not just some text message thing where someone says they might be looking for a certain type of property. You don't even know who they are, right? So I don't know, it was a no-brainer for us, for sure.
Now, how, like, for the people who are trying to compare this and other forms of marketing, like how else would you help them make that decision of whether they should do this or not?
I mean, again, I think it comes down to personality type, willingness to put yourself out there, and.
Do you think area matters? Do you think this will work in every area, or do you think there's some reasons why? I
can't imagine why it wouldn't work in an area. People love talking to people generally, and why would you? No, I mean, I can't imagine an area why it wouldn't work. Why wouldn't it work in a rural setting? I mean, that'd maybe even be better. People love to chat.
We're actually finding that this works better in not the major cities, because there's more of a sense of like community, and that small town kind of vibe. Where sometimes in a city, it's like, hey, I'm in Queen West Toronto, which is really just a street. It's not really like a neighborhood. So that's been something kind of cool, because most big companies, they're like, well, there's lots of people in these big cities, so our form of marketing works really well in that big city. But if you get out into the small towns and small cities, it actually works a whole lot better.
No, and I mean, I would probably not disagree there. I mean, Kelowna is a decent sized area, and it's definitely growing. Lots of families, lots of people, and then the more people you can get in front of, and it sounds like a broken record, but for us, that's our goal. And not only that, people see our videos, like we pump them out through Facebook and different things. People see us and they start getting familiar with, oh, these are the guys that interview all the business owners. They're kind of on it. Like my realtor didn't do that.
Have
you
you
know what I
had
mean?
have you had people come up to you or message you and say
Oh, I've had friends being like, so what is this about? Like, what do what is this about? And then you explain it and they're like, hey, that makes sense. You know?
Yeah.
So yeah, no, for sure.
Cool. Well, thanks so much for being on the show.
Absolutely.
If you guys want to ask them any questions, then how can they reach out to you?
Yes, send us an email, kelownanorth@gmail.com, and we'll be happy to help you out. Absolutely.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, thanks guys. Stay tuned for more episodes on becoming a local leader so you can learn how to be great in real estate and see if park management might be the right fit for you.